Hey, so we're reading more from this beautiful book, and we are on a story from the Tewa tribe, and is titled The Husband's Promise. This tale from the San Juan Pueblo in New Mexico is a graceful variation on the same theme as Deer Hunter and Corn Maiden. Okay, let's see. There lived in the village of San Juan a young man, Capin, and a maiden, Willowflower. These two were deeply in love, and on the day of their wedding they promised each other that as long as they were alive they would never part. The couple built a home on the edge of the village and lived happily together for 3 moons, until one day the lovely maiden became ill. The young husband did everything to help her get well, but instead she became worse, and in a short time she was dead. Well, no, sad. They love each other. The young husband was despondent. He could not understand why she had to go so soon, after she had promised that she would never leave him. When many moons had passed, however, he was learning to live with his grief. At night, he did not have much to do and would usually visit his parents. One night, as he was walking back across town to his home, he noticed a light burning in the distance beyond the village. For several days he saw the light shining at the same spot around midnight, and it began to bother him. Even during the day as he worked, he would think about it. One night he said to himself, "I must go to see this light and find out what it is." It took him about an hour to reach the place, and much to his surprise he found a house there. Frightened but curious to know who lived in it, he decided to peep through the window. Be careful. He was astounded to see his lovely wife. At that point, I'd be like, I've gone insane. I've gone insane. She was standing by the fireplace combing her beautiful black hair, which came down to her knees. Ooh, very beautiful. Capin said, "Aha! At last I have found her. The light was kept burning for me to see. Why didn't I come before? I wonder where she is going, all dressed up." Now his wife finished combing her hair and was putting on her snow-white moccasins. "I must speak to her before she leaves," said Capin. Up the stairs he went, standing in the only entrance to the top house. He saw her poised to ascend the ladder that led to the rooftop. "What are you doing here?" she said imminently. Before he could reply, she added, "You might as well come in." Well, dang, that's kind of a weird welcome, right? Capin slowly descended the stairs. He told her how he had seen the light for a number of nights and decided to investigate. "If I had known you lived here," he said, "I would have come sooner." "Well," said Willowflower, "you can't stay any longer. You must go." "I don't understand. What are you thinking? Remember the promise we made when we got married? That we would never part? And now that I found you, I will stay." Angrily, Willowflower replied, "You can't stay here. You do not belong with me. And until your time comes, you cannot be with me. Go before it's too late." Capin insisted on staying, and this led to a long quarrel. At last Willowflower said, "All right, you can stay for the night, provided that you are a man." "I am a man," retorted Capin. "In that case you will stay with me until the morning. And if you are still here then, I will go home with you to the village. Do you agree?" So notice that, it's not that he's just a man because of his gender identity or his biology. It's that this sort of coming of age ceremony where a man proves himself, right? So before you could call yourself a man, you had to go through something, essentially. It's quite interesting. "Yes, I agree," said Capin. Willowflower prepared a bed on the floor, and they both went to sleep. About 3 o'clock in the morning, Capin was awakened by a pungent odor that stung his nostrils. It was coming from the body of his wife. Soon Capin could no longer tolerate the odor of rotten flesh. Slowly he got out of bed and put on his clothes. He said to himself, "If I leave before she wakes, I will be free." Very quietly he went upstairs. So remember, she's dead, right? She's kind of like an animated corpse. And he's laying next to her. She doesn't have that scent of when she was alive. Has a weird smell now. Just as he reached the last step, Willowflower woke up and cried, "Come back, you coward! You have failed to keep your end of the bargain, and now you must pay the penalty." Capin was not yet ready to join the people of death, so he jumped off the rooftop and ran toward home with all his might. But Willowflower was swift as the wind, and in no time she was out of the house and running after him. That probably was a little terrifying. So think about it. He went in happy, and now he's running scared. As Capin came to the Rio Grande, he met the old medicine man from the village, who was on his way to the mountains in search of game. The old man said, "What's wrong, my son? Are you running away from someone? You look as if something awful has happened to you." Capin could hardly talk, but he finally managed to gasp, "I'm running away from Willowflower." "So you are," said the old medicine man. "You've never learned to mind your own business, and now this has happened to you." Curiosity, right? The old medicine man, "You must help me. You are a powerful one. Send me where Willowflower can't catch me." The old man said, "There's no place on earth that will hide you from Willowflower. I'll shoot you into the sky, which has plenty of room for you to run. Come jump into the shaft of this special arrow." Capin did as he was told. "Capin, are you comfortable in there?" "Yes, old man." "Get ready. Now I'm going to shoot you into the sky where Willowflower will never catch you." Twang! Went the old medicine man's bowstring, and off into the sky flew Capin. With Capin on his way, the old medicine man returned to his own trail. A few minutes later he met Willowflower. "Good morning, my child," said the medicine man. "Where are you going?" "I am running after Capin. Have you seen him?" "Yes, I talked to him near the river a few minutes ago." "You are a powerful one. Tell me where he is heading." "Capin is now in the sky. If you want to catch him, that's where you'll have to go." "Please shoot me into the sky with your strong bow," said Willowflower. So the old medicine man put her into one of his special arrows and shot her into the sky. Notice how he's like kind of in the middle, right? Not taking a side, but letting them duke it out. To this day, Willowflower is chasing Capin. Tonight, if the stars are out, just look to the west and you'll see two bright ones out about a foot apart. The first is Capin, and the one behind is Willowflower, chasing her husband. Told at San Juan Pueblo, New Mexico, in the early 1960s, and translated from the Tewa by Alfonso Ortiz. Capin and Willowflower, man. Dang, he saw the light, was curious, but he had so much grief, and look at that. Turned into him getting chased by his former zombie bride. It's quite depressing if you think about it. Should have just took the grief, right?